All right, Shalom Makyam. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. We are the Hebrew Israelites, which consists of the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, and according to the Holy Scriptures, we're God's chosen people. Shalom to all the brothers out there pushing this knowledge and sincerity and truth. Shalom to the few sisters, and shalom to all the Israelite foreigners who are scattered abroad. What you're looking at is a true depiction of the one ignorantly called Jesus Christ, whose real name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. All right, and Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, the one ignorantly called God or Jehovah, and they are so-called black men, according to the scriptures. Okay, coming back at you with another lesson. All right, and this lesson is going to be based upon Esau power structure, his secret government, and the ways he came into power. Really started stretch out his power, which is all according to the prophecy after World War II. So I'm gonna show you some parts of this video and link it with biblical prophecy, and Lord willing is an edifying lesson unto the very elect.
The secret government is an interlocking network of official functionaries, spies, mercenaries, ex-generals, profiteers, and super patriots who, for a variety of motives, operate outside the legitimate institutions of government. Presidents have turned to them when they can't win the support of the Congress or the people, creating that unsupervised power so feared by the framers of our Constitution. Just imagine that William Casey's dream came true. Suppose the enterprise grew into a super-secret, self-financing, self-perpetuating organization. Suppose they decided on their own to assassinate Gorbachev, or the leader of white South Africa. Could a president control them? And what if he became the enterprise's public enemy number one? Who would know? Who would say no?
The secret government will continue in a few moments.
The history of our secret government. World War II was over. Europe lay devastated. The United States emerged as the most powerful nation on earth.
In World War I and World War II is written in the scriptures. It's in Revelation, the 9th chapter, I think the 13th verse, 12th verse. It says, "One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more after." So Revelation, the 9th chapter, dealing with the First World War, and the two, and there come two woes more after, is dealing with World War II, and we already in the beginning of World War III. This thing is getting ready to kick off. So this is dealing with after World War II, and how America formulated plans and made allegiances and alliances with started the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, started the CIA, and their pursuit to world domination, what you call the New World Order. Okay.
But from the rubble rose a strange new world, a peace that was not peace, and a war that was not war. We saw it emerging when the Soviets occupied Eastern Europe. The Cold War had begun.
An iron curtain has descended across the continent. Behind that line lie all the capitals of the ancient states of Central and Eastern Europe.
The Russians had been our ally against the Nazis, an expedient alliance for the sake of war. Now they were our enemy. To fight them, we turned to some of the very men who had inflicted on humanity the horrors of Hitler's madness. We hired Nazis as American spies.
The Germans. So they went to the Germans, which is all according to prophecy as well. Teeman. You go into Teeman. All right. It's an extension of the Edomites. It says concerning Edom, going to the word Edom, Hebrew word is Adawam, means red. They're not white, they're red. Thus said the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? So they got their wisdom, how to formulate and construct the nuclear bomb from the Germans, the German scientists. You can look up this documentation called Operation Paperclip, what goes into after World War II. Some of the Nazis got hired by the United States, and some of them got hired by the Russians. So a lot of the military construction as far as weaponry, high-tech weaponry came from the Germans. Also what you call mind control, MK Ultra, and various different things. It says, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Because pretty much the Lord, this prophecy, the Most High is getting ready to destroy the whole Edomite power structure under what is controlling the earth right now by the United States, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the European Union, which is a conglomerate of what you call the beast system. It says, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of the den, for I will bring calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. So that's the time frame we're in right now, where the Lord's getting ready to visit this devil. And when you look up documentation online dealing with Teman, I looked this up. I think I typed in Teman or Germans. I went to this documentation right here, and it's the first paragraph. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to go to the last few sentences, and it says, the king of Edom in 600 BCE was named Gos Gabur, i.e. He-Man of Kos. This name is derived from a Middle Eastern from of Esau, since the initial ayin, translated as E in Esau, can be pronounced with a harsh sound. Esau, under the name of Kos, was therefore the supreme god of many in Germany, right? So it goes into T in the top few sentences. T Minu from Teman were to become an imported implement in Europe, as we explain in our book Ephraim. Okay, so that's the point I want to make. If you could look, you can actually look this stuff up, man. It'll come up.
He struck a secret bargain with the devil.
One that I know real well is Klaus Barbie. He was wanted by the French as their #1 war criminal. And somehow we employed a man like that as a very secretive informant.
Erhard Dabringhaus was employed in the U.S. Army Counterintelligence Corps and assigned to work with Nazi informants spying on the Russians. One of them was Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon, who had tortured and murdered thousands of Jews and resistance fighters. The Americans did not turn Barbie over to the French when they finished with him. They helped him escape to Bolivia. Other top Nazis were smuggled into the United States to cooperate in the war against the new enemy. So began the morality of the Cold War. Anything goes. The struggle required a mentality of permanent war, a perpetual state of emergency. And it meant a vast new apparatus of power that radically transformed our government. Its foundations were laid when President Truman signed into law the National Security Act of 1947.
Now, that National Security Act of 1947 changed dramatically the direction of this great nation. It established the framework for a national security state.
Admiral Jean Larocque rose through the ranks from ensign to become a strategic planner for the Pentagon, and now heads the Center for Defense Information, a public interest group.
The National Security Act of 47 gave us the National Security Council. Never have we had a National Security Council so concerned about the nation's security that we were always looking for threats and looking how to orchestrate our society to oppose those threats. National security was invented, almost, in 1947. And now it has become the prime mover of everything we do is measured against something we invented in 1947. The National Security Act also gave us the Central Intelligence Agency.
This is the...
Right, not only during that time frame, they create the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, I think a couple of years after that. You see what I'm saying? A lot of things happened after World War II, man. This is when Esau really was at his height of his power, especially America. You understand what I'm saying? Scriptures goes into the beast that came out of the bottomless pit. This is where it really began right here, man, after World War II.
The Cold War built, the CIA, the core of the new secret government. Its chief legitimate duty was to gather foreign intelligence for America's new role as a world power. Soon it was taking on covert operations, abroad and at home. As its mission expanded, the CIA recruited adventuresome young men like Notre Dame's All-American Ralph McGehee.
I look back to the individual that I was when I joined the agency. I was a dedicated Cold Warrior who felt the agency was out there fighting for liberty, justice, democracy, and religion around the world. And I believed wholeheartedly in this. I just felt proud every day that I went to work because I was out at the vanguard of the battle against the international evil empire, international communists, the evil empire.
Iran, 1953. The CIA mounted its first major covert operation to overthrow a foreign government. The target was the Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh. He held power legitimately through his country's parliamentary process, and he was popular. Washington had once looked to him as the man to prevent a communist takeover. But that was...
So back then, the boogeyman or the boogie word was communism. You understand what I'm saying? Communist was the, oh, we got to get communists and blah, blah, blah. And today's what? The terrorists, ISIS, so on and so forth, man. These things are all formulated by the Rothschilds, so on and so forth, man. And that blueprint came for the world wars from Albert Pike, man, who was working for the Rothschilds, so on and so forth. All right? And these things are all linked up with biblical prophecy.
Before Mossadegh decided that the Iranian state, not British companies, ought to own and control the oil within Iran's own borders. When he nationalized the British...
And that's what Esau hates, because Esau, his blessing was to rule with the sword. Let's get into that, man. His blessing is to rule with the sword. I'm bringing it back to the video. Important to rule with the sword is to control the earth resources, man. I think Genesis, 25 and, let me see. Genesis 26. Hold on for a second. Genesis 27. Yeah, Genesis 27, where he got his birthright. Go straight to the point real quick. And Esau, Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou one blessed my father? Bless me even also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. This is the so-called white man. Okay. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live. By thy sword thou shalt live, which is, the military structure, man. So let's deal with the fatness of the earth, man. Okay. Shall be the fatness of the earth. Right? It says a fatness. It says fat piece, fertile place, richly prepared food. So he controls all the agriculture, the imports and exports. And you go to B, it says oil. See that? Oil. So one thing, if you're in a country, you set up your own government and all that, you have resources that they can use, and you don't want to go along with them, they're going to take you out of power, man. You see, that's what the video was talking about right here, man. When they first went into Iran, that's Esau's blessing.
Run oil fields, Washington saw red. Mobs paid by the CIA decided that the American Ralph McGehee.
I look back to the individual that I was when I joined the AIDS. I was a dedicated cold warrior who felt the ages out there fighting for liberty, justice, democracy, and religion around the world. And I believe wholeheartedly in this. I just felt proud every day that I went to work because I was out at the vanguard of the battle against the international evil empire, international communists, the evil empire.
Iran, 1953. The CIA mounted its first major covert operation to overthrow a foreign government. The target was the Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh. He held power legitimately through his country's parliamentary process, and he was popular. Washington had once looked to him as the man to prevent a communist takeover. But that was before Mossadegh decided that the Iranian state, not British companies, ought to own and control the oil within Iran's own borders. When he nationalized the British-run oil fields, Washington saw red. The Secretary of State, John Foster Dulles.
You see that? Oil. That's part of his blessing, man. If you don't go along with his protocol, he's going to use his sword against you. It says in verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live. All right? And that's what that's what the hell is going on, man. It all adds up, you see?
Dulles and his brother Alan, director of the CIA, decided with Eisenhower's approval to overthrow Mossadegh and reinstate the Shah of Iran. The mobs paid by the CIA and the police and soldiers bribed by the CIA drove Mossadegh from office.
So part of Esau's sword is the CIA, which consists of assassination, bribery, and coups and all that. If that doesn't work, they're selling the military against you. The United States Marines with their army, man, with their special forces, and they'll form a propaganda, push it on the United States news, and people eat it up, man. The communists, the terrorists, you know, hey, man. Oh man, it's crazy.
Crown Prince Abdullah greets the Shah as he lands at Baghdad airport after a 7-hour flight from Rome. The King of Kings was back in control and more pliable than Mossadegh. American oil companies took over almost half of Iran's production. U.S. arms merchants moved in with $18 billion of weapon sales over the next 20 years. But there were losers.
Nearly everybody in Iran of any importance has had a brother or a mother or a sister or a son or a father tortured, jailed, deprived of property without due process. I mean, an absolutely buccaneering dictatorship in our name that we supported. SAVAK was created by the CIA.
SAVAK, the Shah's secret police,
was created by the CIA. Was created by the CIA, man. See that?
tortured and murdered thousands of his opponents. General Richard Secord and Albert Hakim, whom we met earlier, were among those who helped supply the Shah's insatiable appetite for the technology of control. But the weapons and flattery heaped by America on the Shah blinded us to the growing opposition of his own people. They rose up in 1979 against him. Death to the Shah, they shouted. Death to the American Satan.
Khomeini is a direct consequence, and the hostage crisis is a direct consequence, and the resurgence of the Shia is a direct consequence of the CIA's overthrow of Mossadegh in 1953.
That shit backfired on the ass. You see? That shit backfired. You understand? So they're going to try it one last time. But this time, how the Lord set it up, once they go into Iran for this last time, that's going to be the war, the end of wars. And that's going to be the third war, man. World War III.
1954. Flushed with success, America's secret government decided another troublesome leader must go. This time it was Jacobo Arbenz, the democratically elected president of Guatemala. Philip Redinger was recruited from the Marines to join the CIA team.
It was explained to me that it was very important for the security of the United States that we were going to prevent a Soviet beachhead in this hemisphere, which we've heard about very recently, of course.
There's always a buzzword: Soviet, communism, terrorists. And you being a naive, you fall for that shit, man. You fall for that shit. So the Lord has given us the insight on everything, man. You know, this is some heavy, deep stuff, you know.
And that the Guatemalan government was communist, and we had to do something about it.
President Arbenz had admired Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and his government voted often with the American position at the United Nations. But in trying to bring a new deal to Guatemala, Arbenz committed two sins in the eyes of the Eisenhower administration. First, when he opened the system to all political parties, he recognized the communists too.
Well, of course, there was no even a hint of communism in his government. He had no communists in his cabinet.
You hear that? You hear that? Once again, another guy who tried to, on his land, you see, man, oh my gosh, that's part of the prophecy. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. Once you don't go along with Esau rule, he's going to take you out. I mean, with his plans, he's going to take you out and deem you as some wicked ass individual, man. Now this guy, with his land that he has over there in Guatemala, that's the tribe of Zebulon. Everything that he had on that land, he was trying to help his people out. Esau don't want that, man. You know, can't help your people out, man. If you in an office and power, you got to go along with their agenda.
He did permit the existence of a very small communist party.
Arbenz also embarked on a massive land reform program. Less than 3% of the landowners held more than 70% of the land. So Arbenz nationalized more than 1.5 million acres, including land owned by his own family, and turned it over to peasants. Much of that land belonged to the United States.
Turn it over to the peasants, the poor of his people, man, so they can live off the land. You see that?
Fruit Company, the giant American firm that was intent on keeping Guatemala quite literally a banana republic.
Right.
United
Poor. Keeping them poor. The United States, with their help, their whole power structure, man, they go around conquering these worlds and set up their corporation and take all those lands, resources, and give the people scraps, man. That's why you got third world countries throughout South America, the Caribbean island, and all that. You know, it all goes back to what the elite bankers, man.
Fruit appealed to its close friends in Washington, including the Dulles brothers, who said that Arbenz was openly playing the communist game. He had to go.
This was sudden death for him. I mean, there was no chance of him winning this fight because of the fact that he had done this to the United Fruit Company. Plus the fact that he was overthrowing the hegemony of the United States over this area. And this was dangerous. It could not be tolerated. We couldn't tolerate it.
From Honduras, the same country that today is the Contra staging base, the CIA launched a small band of mercenaries against Guatemala. They were easily turned back. So with its own planes and pilots, the CIA then bombed the capital.
See that? With their own planes and pilot, the CIA bombed their capital. Crazy stuff, man.
Arbenz fled and was immediately replaced by an American puppet, Colonel Carlos Castillo Armas.
Replaced by what? An American puppet. This is not a game, man.
Overturned all of the reformist activity of President Arbenz. He gave the land back to the United Fruit Company that had been confiscated. He took land from the peasants and gave it back to the landowners.
The CIA had called its covert action against Guatemala Operation Success. Military dictators ruled the country for the next 30 years. The United States provided them with weapons and trained their officers. The communists we saved them from would have been hard-pressed to do it better. Peasants were slaughtered. Political opponents were tortured. Suspected insurgents were shot, stabbed, burned alive, or strangled. There were so many deaths at one point that coroners complained they couldn't keep up with the workload. Operation success.
So yeah, that's the world we're living in, man. That's why the Lord gave us information to bring out to the elect of our nation, man, and let you know this Bible is real, and everything that happened and is happening is according to the scriptures. And the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given us the insight to give it to the elect, from our apostles and elders on down. And we are living the last days of this so-called white man power structure, and our Lord and Savior is getting ready to get us the hell up out of this shit, man. You know, because there is an end all be all to this crap, man. You know, Esau has his turn, and look what he has done. A wonderful job of destroying the earth with his blessing of the sword, his carnality. You know, Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So this great whore is dealing with the United States of America, and sit upon many waters, dealing with the different nations. Control the militarization and the controlling of these different nations, man, through their secret government, through the CIA, and through their military operations. Okay? And with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Right. So they have their ways of getting you to go along with their plans, man. You don't go along with their plans, they're gonna take you down. They're gonna take you out of power. But the Lord got it to where now a lot of major countries like Russia, Iran, and China, they have the same capabilities now, man. All right, and through their fornication, these different kings, they are doing business with America, man. You know, so that's why today we have trade wars and all that, because America's that puffed. They're very puffed up and prideful. It says, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunken with the wine of her fornication. The whole earth is under the vibration of the United States of America and their policies, the military rules. You understand what I'm saying? America is the main hub. Scriptures talking about Babylon as the golden cup that the Most High is using to flood the earth with their wickedness is right here, man. So you carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. So this woman is metaphorically dealing with America, and the scarlet colored beast is dealing with the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and European Union, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. That's the beast, which was formulated after World War II. You see? Which goes back to what? The Roman Empire. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Yes. At one point, after World War II and all that, all the way down to the 1970s, that's when this place really started to deteriorate. You can make, hey, man, I'm from a third world country, and I'm glad, the Lord brought me over here through my father. Better life you have for yourself, be able to make some money for yourself, so on and so forth. But this place is on its way out, man. It said the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. Yeah, you come here and you get caught up in the wine and that philosophy of this wicked ass place. This is a very satanic place, man. And as the years go by, it became worse and worse and worse. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery. This was once a mystery to the public eye to know what this breakdown is, and it's dealing with America. Babylon the Great, aka America, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. You see that? That video breaks it down, and it could go way deeper than that today, man. But it's giving you a good summarization, man, of what the hell is going on and how this thing all started, man. We could go deeper than that, but you know, it's a good visualization, man. Okay, so this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 15 to 27. It says, "And I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit, in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. And I came near unto one of them that stood by, dealing with the angel, and asked him the truth of all of this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. It says, these great beasts, which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth." So he's getting the breakdown of the different kingdoms that were set up from the Assyrian, Babylonian Empire, to the Persian and Medes, to the Greeks, to the Roman Empire. It says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." So that's eventually is going to happen. We in that time frame. After World War III, when the Yahweh Shai returns, we are going to inherit the earth and we're going to rule in righteousness. But before all that, these things must take place. But then it says, "Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others." So we're in we living in the fourth beast reincarnated, which is the Roman Empire all over again, which is formulated under North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the European Union, and America. The beast. Why was it so diverse? Because America's system is based upon a Senate, it's based upon a Congress, and it all goes back to Roman Empire, a voting system. And today we have the Democrats and the Republicans, what goes back to Roman Empire, the plebeians and the patricians, man. One big smoke screen. That's why it was so diverse from the Greeks, the Persian, the Medes, because in the Assyrian, Babylonian Empire, because that was based upon a monarch system, dealing with kings. Okay. It says, which was diverse from all the others. Okay. Was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. It's dealing with his military might, his secret operations, different invasions they did, different wars. And of the 10 horns which are in his head, and 10 horns dealing with what? The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which goes back to the ancient Roman Empire under the 10 common markets, the Ostrogoths, the Visigoths, the Seweli, the Heruli, the Vandals, the Anglo-Saxons, you know, so on and so forth. Which these names come back into these different countries, man. I forgot the top 10, but, you know, and it says, of the other which came up, all right, and it says, and of the other which came up, and before him 3 fell. And so out of this, the 10 horns, America emerged out of this, man, as being the most powerful one. And they had 3 revolutionary wars, okay? Which had the Spanish Revolutionary War, the French, and the British. You know, even of that horn that had eyes, that's dealing with America, okay? And a mouth that spake very great things, and a lot of great things, abominable things comes out of America, stems out of America. America's vibration controls the earth, man. If you live in a third world country, this is the place you got to stop here and make somewhat a better life for yourself and your family. Whose look was more stout than his fellows. So among his fellow comrades, America's the most proudest, man. It's the most proudest out of all of them. They have the more, they're what you call the world superpower, man. Okay? And I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints. That's dealing with America. This power structure, a horn represents a power structure, and prevail against them. Right. All right. So some of us are going to die. They're going to come up with their draconian laws, legislations, and all that. Some of us are going to get locked up. But check this out. It says, until the Ancient of Days came, dealing with Yahweh, well, Yahweh Shai, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. So we shall receive judgment. Lord's going to give us power. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So hell, they're not going to prevail. They're not going to win. That's the proper word. They're not going to win. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. So this is the last kingdom of these heathens to rule on the Esau, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms and shall devour the whole earth. Under the Roman Empire, they weren't able to devour the whole earth. This modern day Roman Empire, under the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the European Union, America, they are able to devour the whole earth. And if you watch this video, it goes all the way down to the Vietnam War, man. You understand? And shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And that's what they've been doing. Okay? It says, in the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. Right? So out of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that's how America came up out of that. And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3 kings. Goes into the different revolutionary wars America had to take place in. And he shall speak great words against the most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Where the majority, the major cities where the saints are at, man, dealing with the Israelites. Yeah, we getting our butt whooped physically, but spiritually we getting stronger. And think, it says, and to think to change times and laws. And he done that through his calendar system and all that. And shall be given, and they shall be given into his hand until time and times and divided of times. And that's dealing with from 1916 to 1970, roughly around 350 years. So, around that time frame, late 60s, 70s, that's when this information of us being who we are came about from the elder Abba Bivens. So before that, we ain't no shit. So now we've returned back to our Most High, and the Lord got us, man. All right. And it says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy unto the end. And yeah, man. And the day is dealing with Yahweh Shai and us, man. All right. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. Is dealing with the Israelites, the elect, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. The him is Yahweh Shai, man. So that's the time frame we're coming into, man. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 23, and I'm going to close it out after this. And it says, sound of battle, a sound of the battle is in the land and the great destruction. So that's the time frame we headed into, man. The battle of Armageddon. How was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder? Woo, you see that? America is the hammer of the whole earth through his CIA, through his military operations, through the different wars they have produced throughout the whole planet. And broken. How was Babylon, America, become a desolation among the nations? So it's future prophecy of this place being destroyed. All right. I've laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and was also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh. So Most High laid a trap for this wicked society, man. The Lord had opened his armory and brought forth the weapons of his indignation. All right. The Lord's armory is dealing with the ICBMs, man. This place will be destroyed under thermonuclear destruction. For this is the work of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. America is the land of the Chaldeans, where the elites push forth their purpose. The New World Order. America is the spearhead of this New World Order. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up upon as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. And what can actually cause that? those missiles, man, the ICBMs. Slay all her bullocks. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for the day is come, the time of their visitation, man. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, our power, the vengeance of his temple, man. So hell yeah, brothers. That's the time frame we in. So all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakak Wadash, man. Keep fighting that good fight. Lord, went unto the end. And shalom.